Yeah, I'm right in the middle here of working up a video on this Nepalese, I want to say Nepalese Martini Henry, but this actually is not a Martini Henry. Now, there is such a thing as a Nepalese Martini Henry, but it would still have all your British stamp marks on it. The British put stamps all over their guns, test proof marks. Look like Subways of New York graffiti. They had stamps all over their Martini Henrys, which is a breech loading, falling block, lever action, single shot. Now, in a Martini Henry, they have several different. They were made from 1880 to 1889, and they had four or five different changes. So there was like from a Mark One to a Mark Five or Mark Four. Now this is called a Peabody. This has nothing to do with a Martini Henry or an Egyptian Martini Henry or a Nepalese Martini Henry. This gun, in all actuality, was probably once a piece of railroad track or leaf springs out of a truck or something. In Kathmandu, Nepal, well, about 20 miles, I think, south, there was a little town where they handmade these rifles. They forged them, built them, everything in bare feet. Literally in their bare feet. That's why you'll see no proof marks on this weapon at all. And you'll see no British proof marks on it, which your Nepalese, and I hope I'm saying that right, it's Nepal, but it was Nepalese. And I wrote down some names here. Now this, whatever this Ghahendra, that was the Nepalese model that still had the British stamps on it, that still tied it to being British Enfield. Now the Peabody that you see I got right in here, I looked one of these up online and I can only find one like this, and they called it this, whatever the hell that word is, jihad and DRI or whatever, Peabody, falling block. Now here I come to find that the Peabody is actually the hand forged one. Now, no two of these are the same. They were whittled out by hand, made out of railroad track and railroad ties and things like that. But then I got sidetracked with this. This is a 7.7 Jap rifle I've had for probably 30 years. And when the Japanese surrendered their weapons, right here was a mum. And when they handed in their weapons, they ground that mum off. They'd take the bolt out and throw it in one pile. They'd grind that mum off and throw the rifle in another pile. That's why none of them have matching bolts. Now, I got this one in yesterday from a buddy that wants to fix it. Then he didn't want to put the money in it that it needed. But this old ugly junk piece here has one thing that other one don't. It still has that mum right there. Looked like maybe somebody tried to grind it off, but that mum, that stamp there, increases the value immensely compared to this one, like you see, that's ground off. Now this has the special airplane sights. They had the idea you could fold these sights out and lead airplanes when you shot at them. And then this has the bipod which was an option to them, and the bolt dust covers. Now these dust covers, see if I can get this open with one hand. Hear that rattle? The Japanese hated that rattling sound. It gave away their position, so they took them dust covers off, which you can see. I have one right here. It just slides in these grooves on the receiver and sets over this receiver in this groove. But that's a rare item. You go on eBay there and Guttenbroker, they want over $100 for that one piece right there, because everybody took them off and there's so few of them. Now, like I say, this gun needs a bolt, a stock. It needs more parts than it's worth, really. But having that mum on it makes me think that I'm going to end up tearing this gun completely apart, putting this barreled action on there and that bolt, just so I have that mum on there. I mean, that's how much of a difference that mum is going to make. And then like I said, when I do a video on this, I'm going to show you a video where these were real rare, because they only made so many of the handmade ones. Most of them had a British stamp and a crown right on the front of the action right here. And they had a safety lever right here. But like I say, this one was made by hand. They literally melted down the steel and forged it, and every one's different. Now this is a Martini Henry bayonet. Won't fit. Different dimensions. And if you see, that's smaller on the end than it is. They didn't care about how they looked long as they shot, pretty much. The lever's different on this. It turns down where a Martini Henry turns up. I don't know what that bayonet's from. I got that. That almost fits. I'm gonna literally drill that out of here and make that bayonet fit this rifle. I can't see paying $100 just to put a bayonet on this whole rifle. Now these were rare, and then in 1992, people started bringing them back from Afghanistan when they was over there in battle, and that brought the price down a little bit. And then in 2000, they found a building with over 50,000 rifles in it in Kathmandu, Nepal. And this rifle here is actually one of the 50,000 guns found in that building in Nepal, in Kathmandu. It makes you think of the Bob Seger song, huh? But that rifle was actually from that lot, found in that building. And when I seen that in 2000 in a Guns and Ammo magazine where they found all these weapons, I said, one day I'm going to have me one of them. Now, and there she sits. Now, this was one of the lower class ones, because there was a lot of nice ones that sold for big money. Now, the regular Martini Henry, they tore them down and they built sporting rifles out of them for years. Custom target rifles and things like that. But with these, they say don't even shoot these. Like you see, the only marking on there is right here on the back. There's some numbers. If this was a Martini, if this was made in Britain, there'd be proof marks all over it. The wood would have proof marks, the steel, the barrel, everything. There'd be numbers on every band. Every part would have a serial number. Like I say, these were forged out of railroad tracks and leaf springs. And they say they're not safe to shoot. I've shot one round and